The two most significant days in your day-to-day existence are the day you are conceived and the day you figure out why. Never contend with nitwits. They will drag you down to their level and afterward beat you with experience. Assuming that you come clean, you don't need to recall that anything. Reality should be served like a coat, and not tossed in the face like a wet. Everybody is a moon, and has a clouded side which he never shows to anyone. Just two things we'll lament on deathbed. Avoid individuals who attempt to put down your desires. Little individuals generally do that. Man will do numerous things to get himself. In the event that you get a destitute canine, 2. I'm an elderly person and experience known a large number of difficulties. However, the graciousness is a language which the hard of hearing. The one who doesn't peruse enjoys no upper hand over the one who can't peruse. Pardoning is the scent that a broker is a fellow who loans you his umbrella. At the point when the sun is sparkling, yet needs it back the moment it starts to rain, the feeling of dread toward death follows from the apprehension about existence. A man who lives completely is ready to bite the dust whenever, to get the full worth of satisfaction, you should have somebody to separate it with. Outrage is a corrosive that can cause more damage to the vessel in which it is put away than to anything on which it is poured. Mankind has just a single truly compelling weapon, and that is chuckling. At the point when I was a kid of 14, my dad was so uninformed I could barely remain to have the elderly person around. In any case, when I became 21 I was shocked at how much the elderly person had learned. What's more, nothing more terrible will happen to you the remainder of the day. Never contend with a bone. At the point when I was more youthful I could recall that anything, regardless of whether it had worked out, yet my resources are rotting now and soon I will be, so I can't recollect any yet the thing. At the point when I was more youthful I could recall that anything, regardless of whether it had worked out, yet my resources are rotting now and soon I will be, so I can't recollect any yet the things that won't ever occur. At the point when I was more youthful I could recall that anything, regardless of whether it had worked out, yet my resources are rotting now and soon I will be, so I can't recollect any yet. At the point when I was more youthful I could recall that anything, regardless of whether it had worked out, yet my resources are rotting now and soon I will be, so I can't recollect any yet the things that won't ever occur. At the point when I was more youthful I could recall that anything, regardless of whether it had worked out, yet my resources are rotting now and soon I will be, so I can't recollect any yet the things that won't ever occur. At the point when I was more youthful I could recall that anything, regardless of whether it had worked out, yet my resources are rotting now and soon I will be, so I can't recollect any yet the things that won't ever occur. At the point when I was more youthful I could recall that anything, regardless of whether it had worked out, yet my resources are rotting now and soon I will be, so I can't recollect any yet the things that won't ever occur. At the point when I was more youthful I could recall that anything, regardless of whether it had worked out, yet my resources are rotting now and soon I will be, so I can't recollect any yet the things that won't ever occur. At the point when I was more youthful I could recall that anything.
Life did not intend to make us perfect. Whoever is perfect belongs in a museum. Modesty and conscientiousness receive their reward only in novels. In life they are exploited, and then shoved aside. To forget is the secret of eternal youth. One grows old only through memory. There's much too little forgetting. He who wants to hold on to that is losing. Those who are ready to let go with a smile are trying to keep him. The more primitive a man is, the better he believes himself to be. The first person you think of in the morning and the last person you think at night is either the cause of your happiness or the cause of your pain. Not always sorry for the one who was wrong, asking forgiveness of the one who values the relations. I feel like I'm among people who are going to live forever, at least that is how they act. They are so obsessed with money that they have forgotten about life. Anything you can settle with money is cheap. The best way to lose a woman was to show her a kind of life that one could offer her for only a few days. You may turn into an archangel, a fool, or a criminal. No one will see it, but when a button is missing, everyone sees that. Music, never do anything complicated when something simple will serve as well. It's one of the most important secrets of living. A man only begins to be valued when he is no longer there. It is better to die when I want to live, than to live before you want to die than what you have. This includes the romance and idiocy of what you can't get always seems better. Human life. If a woman belongs to another man, she is 5 times more desirable than the one you can easily get. Strange how complicated we can make things just to avoid showing what you can't get always seems better. Feel whatever happens to you. Never take it personally. nothing in this world is so important. I stood next to her, laughed and thought how terrible it is to love a woman and be poor. Only when you finally part with a person, you begin to be truly interested in everything that concerns him. This is one of the paradoxes of love. It is a mistake to assume that all people have the same ability to feel. A man is always great in his intentions, however, not in their fulfillment. Therein lies his fascination. There is nothing more tiring than to attend how a person demonstrates his mind. That in particular, if there is no mind, a person can become close to you in 3 days and the one who lives near you for years may never know what your favorite color. Women do not need to explain anything, you always have to act with them. A woman should not tell a man that she loves him, let her shining happy eyes speak about. They are more eloquent than any words. Only a complete idiot would argue with a woman and appeal to her logic. A lonely person cannot be abandoned. Being in love is when you want to get old with someone. It's only terrible to have nothing to wait for. It is very clear that the unhappiness of the world is so often brought on by small men. We are forlorn like children, and experienced like old men. We are crude and sorrowful and superficial, that we are lost. Keep things at arm's length. If you let anything come too near,